In section 7.3, we are going to learn how to use an alternative notation to find the derived function f prime of x. We usually used f of x equal to x power n, and we found f prime of x, or the derived form for f of x. Now we are going to use an alternative notation in order to find the derived function. Then in page 120 you can find the gradient formula for a function such as f of x equal 4x squared minus 8x plus 3, and other functions in the form of f of x equal ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are constant. Then in this section we are going to learn how to find the derived formula or the gradient formula for a function in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. You can use an alternative notation when finding the gradient of the function. Again, we need to find the gradient of the tangent at a point B by starting with the gradient of a chord BC, as we did in the first or in section 7.2. So finding 2 points very close to each other on the curve and trying to find the gradient for them is the easiest way. For example, we have this curve in red, and it's the function we have. We have the point B with the coordinates x, y, and then the point C with another coordinate, and the change in the coordinate is called delta x or delta y. Then, instead of using h as in the previous tutorials, we are using now delta. This time the point B is the point with the coordinates x, y, and the point C is the point near to B with the coordinates x plus delta x or h, and y plus delta y. Delta x is called delta x and is a single symbol which stands for a small change in the value of x. This was donated by h in section 7.2. Thus, now we replaced h by delta x or delta y. Also, delta y is called delta y and it's a single symbol which stands for a small change in the value of y. So it's important when we have y coordinates to use delta y instead of h, and when we have x coordinates we use delta x instead of h. The gradient of the chord BC is then the difference in y divided by the difference in x. The difference in y divided by the difference in x, we have the both points. If we find the difference in y and divide it by the difference of x, we can find that the answer is going to be delta y divided by delta x, and this is by direct substitution. But both points or B and C lie on the same curve with the equation y equal f of x, and so B is the point x f of x. We call the point y f of x, and C is the point x plus delta x, and instead of y plus delta y we are going to write f of x plus delta x. Thus B is x and it's y. Instead of writing y we are going to write f of x, and for the point C we have x plus delta x, and the point y plus delta y is going to be f of x plus delta x. So the gradient of BC can also be written as follow: f of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x is going to be the answer or the general form that we are going to use later on or in other videos. You can make the value of delta x very small as we did previously with h, and you will find that the smaller the value of delta x, the smaller the value of delta y will be, because delta y is a dependent on delta x. all the value of y are dependent on the value of x. Therefore, now we can say the limiting value of the gradient of the chord is the gradient of the tangent at B, which is also the gradient of the curve at B. We remember the limit as h tends to 0 is now going to be replaced as delta x tends to 0. This is called the rate of change of y with respect to x at the point B and is denoted by delta y divided by delta x. Then delta y divided by delta x is going to be equal to the limit as delta x tends to 0 for delta y divided by delta x. By substituting the formula that we just found, then the limit for that as delta x tends to 0 for f of x plus delta x minus f of x all divided by delta x. In this case, delta y divided by delta x is called the derivative of y with respect to x. So once they ask us to find the derived form, we can write delta y divided by delta x. Also, delta y by delta x is called f prime of x that we already used in the previous tutorials. This is then the process of finding the differentiation. If we are asked to find the or to make differentiation, then it's the process of finding delta y by delta x.